Welcome, everyone, and welcome to this exciting evening where we'll be sharing a few things. And I just want to welcome you to P Cloudy's webinar on how to enhance app experience with the right app insights. Uh, my name is Dinakar, and I'll be the host for today. Before we get started, I would like to go over a few housekeeping rules. If you may have noticed, your line is currently muted. However, you can submit your questions if you have any during the webinar using the Q&A option at the bottom of the screen. We will answer your questions during the Q&A section at the end of the webinar. And please do note that we are recording this webinar, so we'll send out a link later on to share with your colleagues or give it a second watch. With that said, let me welcome the speaker for today, Jessica Selvin. Jessica is a pre-sales specialist at pCloudy. She has around 3+ years of experience in the IT industry. Prior to her role at pCloudy, she has worked with LTI Mindtree as a pre-sales consultant in automation solution design. And she's done this for various industries. She has a keen interest in data analytics and various automation tools. So without further ado, let me hand it to our speaker, Jessica Selvin. Over to you.
Hello and good evening, everyone. And thank you for that introduction, Dinakar. So let's get started. I'll be walking you through basically how to enhance your app experience with the right app insights, right? So as users and as end users of applications, we all might have experienced frustrating experiences with slow, lagging apps or unresponsive applications. But more from a testing perspective, we will see how leveraging data and data-driven insights can help us identify those issues before they actually negatively impact the end users, right? So moving on to the agenda, moving on to the agenda, we'll first be going through what is the basic need of enhancing app experience, what's the need there, and what is the role that app insights play in enhancing app experience, and understanding what exactly are we talking about when we mean app insights. And further, how do we go about, or what are the key players in terms of implementing a solid reporting strategy, and where it comes across in terms of application in real world industries. We will also be seeing a live demo of the same. And as Dinakar mentioned, at the end, we will be addressing any questions that you may have. So with that, let's just get started with a quick poll. And let's see, in terms of our experiences as end users, in terms of how we go about using applications, what are the types of applications we use. So let's get started with the poll. Yeah, so I hope the poll is all visible to you. So this is just which mobile app do you most commonly use? The first option is social media. Next is communication or messaging apps. And thirdly, productivity and office or work related, and any others that you might have. So maybe we'll just give a 10 to 20 seconds for you guys to answer all of this. Yeah, so we're seeing some answers coming in. Mainly we see there's almost a tie between social media, communication, and productivity. So be it in every aspect of our life, right? I think that's what we can see here, be it personal or in terms of our professional productivity related work. Applications play a key role in every facet of our life. So yeah, that was just a quick poll to get a quick understanding. Now, with that, we can see that what really is the need for enhancing app experience, right? So in today's competitive app market, enhancing the user experience is no longer optional. It is really an essential part of it. And one is, of course, having improved personalized experiences that keep users engaged plays a key role in enhancing app experience. But secondly, also a well-optimized and a well-designed app ultimately leads to user retention, right? a poorly designed app can often lead to app abandonments and reduce number of downloads and overall decrease in user satisfaction. So even if you look at the apps that we've been keeping on our phones for a long time, what is the reason we have stuck with them without uninstalling them or abandoning them? It's likely because they don't crash. They load quickly. They meet our needs in a personalized way, right? So that's what we are aiming to achieve by leveraging the right insights. Now, how do app insights really help in enhancing app experience? So one, of course, and most importantly, is to detect any performance bottlenecks. Now, any unexpected spikes or any sudden anomalies in our data, this gives an immediate indication as to is there any performance bottleneck in my application, right? Secondly, early bug detection is another advantage. So with continuous monitoring of these data points, right, we'll be able to see is there any bugs that is causing these sudden spikes or unexpected spikes. And of course, moving further in terms of faster feedback loops, having this data at hand would help in improving the quality of the feedback and quicken the feedback cycles and overall quicken the release cycles, right? So with that, that's the key role that App Insights end up playing in terms of improving your app experience. Now, yeah, just another quick poll to understand, again from an end user, what are the key performance issues that we come across in terms of our day-to-day in terms of using applications, right? So I hope the question is visible to you all. So among the following, what is the most important aspect in optimizing applications? One is long lasting in terms of battery optimization. Secondly, your app shouldn't crash or hang, should work on limited bandwidths and have an offline mode as well, and should not take too much time to respond. So yeah, I'll give you another 10 seconds maybe to answer. Yeah, so we're seeing some responses coming in. So this is mostly distributed. We can see that mainly on long lasting, shouldn't crash or hang, of course, and response time. So these are all critical players in terms of, and it seems to be equally distributed. And all of these factors are really important in ensuring that, you have good app ratings and have user retention for your applications. So that was the poll. Now moving further. Yeah. Now, when we're talking about App Insights, what exactly do we mean, right? Now, let's get into some of the data points that I'm referring to here. So one is the CPU data. So this is the amount of processing power the app is using on the device's central processing unit, right? So high CPU usage indicates maybe or could lead to overheating, higher battery consumption and performance lags. Secondly, memory. So this is the amount of memory that's utilized by the app when it's running. So it includes all the resources that the app is using to store the data for access while running, right? Again, high memory usage again could impact the performance of your application and ultimately impact user experience. Thirdly, on the app's network usage. So this is the amount of data the app is sending and receiving over the network, right? Usually measured in kilobytes or packets. And it includes both the uploaded and the downloaded data. So again, excessive network usage can negatively impact user experience as well. Increased battery consumption. So all the above three factors, right, play a role into the amount of battery that's consumed by your application. And this is caused by, like CPU network and so on, right? And increased battery consumption could lead to poor user retention as users tend to uninstall battery draining applications. And then, of course, the app size. What is the storage space required to install the app? That's also a key player, and the number of app crashes. This could happen when your app starts functioning unexpectedly and shuts down. It can be caused by several factors, and frequent crashes severely damage the user experience. So ANRs along the same line. So these are the notification that, again, you might have experienced, like application not responding, and it'll ask whether to wait or close the application, right? This usually when the app becomes unresponsive for more than 5 to 10 seconds, right? And again, this could impact user experience. And then finally, activity load time. So this is the time it takes for an activity, or as soon as you install an app, for the first screen to appear to the user and also become interactive to the user. And longer load times or activity load times can make the app feel sluggish and cause the user to abandon the app immediately, right? So again, optimizing this is also critical for a smooth user experience. So these are some of the key insights that, and of course, we will be deep diving into it in much more detail as I move to the demo. But when we're talking about app insights, these are some of the key players and the key data metrics that we're talking about in terms of improving your app performance and improving your user experience. Finally, implementing the right reporting strategy. And what are the key factors that should be there in your reporting to ensure that that you have a solid reporting strategy in place, right? So one is to ensure that there's a quick overview, and you're able to quickly scan and get a high-level view of what are the key data points, and it's easy to understand. But at the same time, it should be detailed enough to drill down into a specific, and it should be granular so that you'll be able to download the key logs and metrics, and also access to the video and screenshots and integration with other tools that may be in place, right? So these are some of the key factors that must be in place to ensure that you have a solid reporting strategy in place. Finally, now in terms of where we have seen this really have real-world applications, right? So talking about here at pCloudy, we have improved our reporting from just the bare minimum session-related details to these real-time metrics that we're talking about and more granular details. And we have taken feedback and improved upon our analytics. Some of the key data points that I was talking about, right? This was some of the feedbacks that we got from our banking clients, the number of ANRs, the activity load times, right? And we have seen this have benefits across industries. So be it banking, retail, e-commerce, fintech, we have seen it have applications across industries where for their applications, they are leveraging these data insights to improve the way they optimize their applications. So with that, we will go ahead with the demo of our platform. Right. So firstly, before we get into the app insights part of it, let's just take a step back and see what pCloudy is. It is a unified functional testing platform, right? And be it in terms of test creation, creating your scripts, we have an automation engine that will enable you to create scripts codelessly, and also a comprehensive device and browser infrastructure in terms of on our cloud, where we have a varied number of devices and browsers for you to execute these scripts on, and also do functional testing, and also a management piece where you can manage your milestones, your project plans, releases, and so on. So this is about our platform. Today, we'll be focusing here on the devices section. Yeah, so as you can see, this is our public cloud where our real devices are hosted across in our data centers, spanning across different regions in India, US, as well as Singapore. And also, these are not simulators or emulators. These are real devices with different manufacturers, models, screen sizes, and so on. So you can go ahead and choose a preferred choice of device that is available and get started on your functional testing. So I'll just select a device and go ahead and click on connect. Right, so as it's acquiring, another prerequisite, right? Before you begin your testing, right, you need to ensure that your developer build is there in place in the device. So we have this My App Data section here. and you need to ensure that you upload your APKs or IPA files in this section before you begin your testing. And also, in case you have any integration with any app distribution platforms, right? We have integrations with App Center or TestFlight as well, and you can directly integrate it with that as well. So here in this case, we have the device has been acquired, and we can go ahead and install our application. So in this case, I've taken a sample demo application or for the purpose of demonstration, an application. So we'll go ahead and install that. Yeah, so the application has been installed. And also you can see we have several features and capabilities on the left and right pane. While we won't be looking into every one of them, we'll be focusing more on the data points that you can see here. So as you can see on the right hand, we can see the basic information about the device and so on. And next we can go to the logs, and we can go ahead and enable the logs, right? So these are the device logs, and you'll be able to see it pouring in real time. And in case there's a crash, your app crashes, you will also be able to see the logs, stack trace it, and also a separate crash report will be generated as well. And if at any point during your testing you want to go ahead and take a screenshot, you can do that. And all the screenshots will be visible here. And then we can go ahead and start the analysis, right? So I'll choose the application. I will go ahead and choose our sample application here. And at any point during your testing, if you want to mark that step as a bug, you can go ahead and mark it as a bug. And we have integrations with Jira or any collaboration tools, as you can see here, right? So let's just perform maybe a simple transaction. And so as you can see, these are all real-time performance metrics of your memory, CPU, as well as battery consumption. And post the session, of course, you will have a more detailed report of the same. So we'll just maybe do a very simple transaction on this demo application. Right. So once you're done with all the steps with regard to your testing, you can go ahead and release the device, and then your session will be over. Yeah. So now we have released the device. So any app that you've installed or any data that you've inputted into the device will also automatically be cleared, right? And once your the session is over, you can go ahead and access the report in this device report section. So this is the device report section, and you will be able to, as you can see, these are all the reports that are generated post the sessions, right? So let's get into the details of that report. So this is what the report looks like. So you'll be able to see the device details as well as the session details, what was the version, the model of the device, as well as the duration of your session. And then you'll be able to first see the high levels of your insights, right? In terms of my memory, what was the peak as well as the average consumption of my memory, the upload and download, downloaded data over the network, the battery consumption, the CPU consumption, again, the peaks as well as the average, as well as the GPU consumption. And again, these are in terms of the metrics. Now, in terms of the application, we'll see what was the name of the application, the app size, as well as the total number of ANRs and crashes that are detected, as well as the activity load time. Now, as I mentioned, right, this is the time it takes for the screen to load and become fully interactive. In this case, it is 306 milliseconds. So these are the high-level insights that you'll be able to see before drilling down. Further, you can also see the video, the recording of the same, and any screenshots that you've taken also will be available. And you'll get the raw data of all these metrics, right? Not just the graphical representation, but you'll be able to download these raw metrics as well. Now coming to the actual metrics, right, that you see. So this here is the CPU utilization. You can see that we have the activity name as well as the system CPU consumption as well as the app CPU utilization, right? So the app CPU usage represents the CPU usage directly contributed by your application, and any spike in this might indicate that there might be some performance issues and you need to optimize your app's code. And the system CPU usage is the CPU usage outside your application. So though it's not in control of your app, it's good to have this metrics also have an idea of these metrics as well. Now, how does CPU actually impact, or having a tab on CPU usage impact your app experience, right? One is, of course, performance and responsiveness. High CPU usage sustained over time usually can create lags in your system, and of course battery drain, overheating, and also it'll impact the user's ability to multitask on their applications, and also it might increase the possibility of any crashes or ANRs, right? So as you can see, you'll be able to see in every activity that you did during the testing, what was the system as well as the app CPU utilization. Now, next, talking about the memory consumption, right? So the graph you see here represents the memory usage of the application measured over time. And here you can see the different types of memory that you can see here, right? So firstly, about the Java heap. So this is the memory allocated to the Java objects in the application, right? And the native heap is any the memory that is outside the Java code, maybe images, files, other system calls, and so on. And the graphics line that you see here in green. So this represents the memory consumed for rendering graphics, such as animations, images, and so on. And as well as the stack memory. So this is the fixed memory that's allocated for local variables, or again, method calls, and so on. And also the code, for the purple line indicates the code that is memory allocated for the app's executable code. So it will include the app's core logic as well as any external libraries or frameworks and so on, right? So all this would give you an idea in terms of where in your code you should optimize in terms of the memory consumption. If there are any spikes, you'll be able to drill down and see which place and which area of my code should I actually go ahead and optimize. And of course, you can see the total consumption of the memory as well, right? And again, this has an impact on app experience again, right? In terms of lag, performance, crashes, and battery drains. Now, moving further, you can see the app's GPU usage and UI rendering as well, right? So this mainly captures how the graphical content is handled within your application, such as rendering animations, transitions, or any other UI elements like buttons, images, charts in your application, right? So how does this impact your app experience? One is a high GPU ensures that there is smooth animations and transitions in your application, and there's improved frame rates and there's less lag. But at the same time, excessive GPU usage can also significantly drain the battery. So having a tab on these metrics also ensures that you optimize and you balance between your performance and the battery consumption, right? And then, also on the network, you can see that we have the uploaded as well as the downloaded data points. So the uploaded packets, you can see here is the number of packets that are sent from the app to the server. Same on the data, which is like more on the user-generated content like images, videos, and text that are being uploaded or shared to the server. And on the downloaded front, you can see the number of packets that the app receives from the server, as well as the data that is received from the server, such as in terms of streaming videos or downloading large files and receiving real-time updates from the server into your application, right? Again, this plays a key role in terms of understanding app experience, right? So one is a high network usage can lead to higher network data consumption. So this will particularly impact users who have limited data plans. And if an app consumes an unusual amount of data without any clear benefits, users might go ahead and uninstall the application. Also, the app might perform poorly in lower bandwidth areas. So if the app's network is not optimized, users in low bandwidth areas will also experience poor performance. So that's where this can come into play as well. And of course, finally, the app battery consumption as well. So all these factors play into how much battery drain is there in your application, right? And monitoring this is also important in assessing how much battery your app is consuming, especially for mobile devices where battery life is a key concern for users. So these are some of the key metrics that you can see that we are providing. And you can see the amount of detail and the granularity in terms of the data that in and which you can drill down and also download the raw data as well. So this gives a summary of all the data points and where we have improved on our reporting. As I said, we started with many bare minimum metrics, but based on the feedback on our clients, from our clients, we can see we have incorporated a lot of these different data points to ensure that the right kind of data is available, to ensure you have the right kind of feedback you can give back to optimize and design your applications to improve end user experience. So with that, I wrap up the session. So we can go ahead with the questions now. Yeah, okay. Yeah, one person has asked, are the reports shareable? Yes. So let me just show that. So these are HTML reports which you can share, and it need not even be a pCloudy user. You can share it to any of your team members. Yeah, the reports are shareable. Yes, definitely. Okay, another. So how long are the reports available? So the reports are available for 30 days. And in case you want to customize it, we can, of course, have a discussion on that. But in general, the reports are available for 30 days. Yes. Okay. Can we share it with those without a pCloudy account? Yes, as I mentioned, yes. With the even if you don't have a pCloudy account, the reports are shareable. Yes. So I'm not sure I understand, but can I remove the remote devices and reinstall the OS? Yeah, that may not be possible. We might have to have a separate discussion on the same, but in general, that is not possible for to do on the remote devices. If you have any questions, please drop it in the box. I think that's about it. I don't see any more questions coming in. Yeah, with that, I hand it over to Dinakar.
No, I mean, I was just looking to see where am I able to see myself or not. So yeah, thank you so much, Jessica. Thank you for answering those questions. If you do have more questions, you can always reach out to us later. I'm sure we'll be more than happy to help you answer those questions via email or one-on-one. You can use the chat box on our website, www.pcloudy.com. and we'll be right with you regarding those questions. Or you can write to us at support or info@pcloudy.com. With that, a big thank you to Jessica for sharing your valuable insights with these practical applications of how these reports are being used, and going on a deep dive and showing us exactly what are the parameters that can add value to increasing the app experience, overall app experience itself. Your presentation was beautiful. It has covered a lot of practical insights in the testing space itself, and I'm sure we can take back something from it and implement in our fields as well.
Thank
We
you.
also want to thank each. We also want to thank each one of our participants who took the time out of their busy schedules and joined us this evening or morning or afternoon, wherever you're joining us from. We really want to thank you. We appreciate you taking the time to come and join us here for the webinar. And I'm sure that these insights that are shared by Jessica has sparked a few ideas, or maybe it got that interest in you to think back and look back. So feel free to watch the webinar again. If you have any doubts, you can always reach out to us. The email address is info@pcloudy.com. And our website is www.pcloudy.com. Well, thank you for being a great audience and an engaging one. And good night.
Thank you.